My name's Melissa Avera, and I love being a realtor. I specialize in real estate in the DFW and surrounding areas, and I also grew up here, so I'm very familiar with the Metroplex. Buying or selling a home can be an extremely stressful task, so I really try to go the extra mile to take that stress out of my clients' hands.
This is Going the Extra Mile. Now, from Frito Nation Productions in the Caddo Office Reimagined Studios, here's Melissa.
All right, guys, today I'm here in the studio with Frito and going to talk to you a little bit about just having a vision in life. And really, when push comes to shove, it's just kind of owning it. I mean, own your life. And as a mentor of mine has learned from him, he always talks about protecting your peace. And I think there's so much to be said there. And just I kind of want to start with, I see this happen all the time. People have a career, right? They get in it, and that's what they've done forever. And it's like, just because you spend years doing something doesn't mean that defines you. And Mark, I'm sure you've seen this a lot from your previous career, because where I've seen it a lot, and some of my clients have been, are professional athletes.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Right? I mean, it's like that defines who they are. And it's like so many of these professional athletes, in the scheme of it, like their career is pretty short-lived, right? You're not 50 and playing in the NFL. Well, I mean, Tom Brady maybe. But, it's like, don't let that define you. Or I see people who are in their, mid-50s, and they know they're still going to be working for another decade or two, but they hate what they do. It doesn't bring them joy anymore. And it's just like people feel stuck because it's like, well, I mean, I'm mid-50s. If I start over in this, who's going to give me the time of day? Or, I mean, I can't go back to making $50,000 a year or whatever.
Yes, you can.
Right? But it goes back to, again, you have a choice, right? Choose what makes you happy. I mean, nobody's time on this earth is guaranteed. So for me, I've had enough setbacks and scares and things in my life where I thought this was it, and I'm still here. And I look at time, honestly, as the biggest luxury. And people just go through the day, grinding and doing the same old crap, expecting a different result, and they never get there. But, I mean, for example, a friend of mine, she went through medical school, became a doctor, practiced for several years, and just realized, like, God, this is not what I want to do with the rest of my life. And, I mean, that sucks because she invested so much time. I mean, it's not like medical school is a lot of work and a lot of money. Most of them get out and they're drowning in debt, right? And she realized within the first 5 years that I'm going to be miserable if I do this my whole life. And she completely has shifted gears. She went into like the practice management side of medicine just to see a different side. Now she's completely out of it and is a flight attendant, but it's just like, good for you. Like that's inspiring to me that she's living her dream. It's truly what she wants to do, despite she went through all this school and did all these things. It's like, you know what? That was what I wanted to do then, but now I'm in a different place in my life, and that's not what I want to do anymore. And I feel like so many people get stuck. Like, it is okay to change.
Well, you brought up a great example, great profession of the professional athlete. I'm not going to tell you who the poet is because I don't know anything about poetry, but there was a poem written about professional athletes that they die twice. And when you think about the professional athlete, they are living their dream for the most part.
Yeah.
But their dream ends very quickly. And they've got to move away from that dream and find something else. And 9 times out of 10, not only does their dream end quickly, but it doesn't end by their choice. It ends because of
injury or
of other things. And there are very few athletes that understand that and get it while they're playing, that, hey, I've got the rest of my life to think about also. And then there's some, I worked with Michael Irvin, And this happens all the time, not just to Michael. But I love doing this to Michael because, Michael's just a fun, cocky kind of guy. And when we would have interns at the radio station, young ones, I would tell Michael, she doesn't even know you played football. She doesn't know you as a football player. She thinks you're a radio talk show host. And, oh, man, I'm a Hall of Famer. Yeah, but she doesn't know that.
Right.
And the phrase that frustrated me from the outside looking in with a lot of these athletes was always and it happened to everyone. Hey, you used to be Michael Irvin. Well, you know what, buddy? I still am Michael Irvin.
Right.
But they're defined by their career. And people say, you used to be.
Yeah.
To me, that's incredibly demeaning.
And to me, that I feel like a lot of these people, especially these professional athletes, that's how you can like totally spiral into deep, deep, deep dark depression. I mean, because like your life, especially when you think of some of these guys, I mean, they probably grew up playing pee-wee football or whatever. Then, high school, college, it's like that's like their identity. That's all they've known. That's who they are. And then they get injured or they retire and it's like, what now? What do I do? And I feel like I've gone to see some of these athletes who have turned into like motivational speakers. And it's a struggle. And like listening to them share their stories of all the things that they go through and talk about how important mindset is, right? I mean, you get taken out playing a football game and it's like that could be a career-ending injury. And it's like you have to get back on the horse because you're 30 and like you have the whole rest of your life to live. But
well, not only that too, but all professions.
Yeah.
The example used with the doctor that's a flight attendant.
yeah,
I guarantee you that she got treated differently when she told people she was a doctor
100%.
than when she tells people I'm a flight attendant.
Right.
She's still the same person.
Absolutely. And it's like kudos to her for doing it. I mean, I think about myself. I was in the medical field my whole career prior, like medical, sports medicine, all of it. And I loved it. But it just got to a point where everything became so unethical, so corporate. And I just, at the end of the day, I didn't feel good about what these companies were wanting me to push or do. Because it's just not in me to try to sell something or provide something when I know that person is not going to benefit from it. Like that's wrong. And so I slowly decided to make my shift into real estate. And I mean, I wish I would have done it knowing what I know now. I wish I would have started it 20 years ago because I never in my wildest dreams thought that my career in real estate would be more rewarding than helping like the last company I worked with. It was in pediatrics, and I would help very, very special needs kids. Like I'd get a 8-year-old who had never taken a step before because they had so many physical limitations, and I would help build and measure for them a medical device so that they could actually do that. And you think that, wow, that's rewarding. But what I do now, I just feel like from my clients, I feel so much more appreciated. Right? Like I work for myself. I'm doing the right thing. I don't have a boss barking at me that your numbers are short. You got to sell X more. Well, you know what?
Could you imagine doing that again?
Never. Like I would never want to go back to that life. And the funny thing is people thought it was glamorous.
Yeah.
My friends, because I traveled a lot, they're like, oh, you're in San Francisco, you're in New York, you're in Boston, you get to go to all these awesome places. But it's not like I'm sightseeing. Not having fun. I mean, I'm in clinics and going to educate doctors after hours. It was all the time.
See, and I had a great career in radio where I loved every single minute. I felt like I wasn't working. I'm getting paid to talk about sports. I really thought I'd miss it. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
And Melissa, I don't miss it one bit. And I can't imagine going back and having a boss and having a schedule and not being responsible or for how much money I'm going to make or not make.
Right. I mean, I work way harder now for myself than I mean, I always was a hard worker, but it's just like for me, when I work for a company, there's always a ceiling, right? Mm-hmm. I give myself no ceiling.
Yeah.
Like
that's a great way to put it. I need to start putting it that way.
Yeah. There's no ceiling. Like I'm capable of whatever I want to do if I just do it.
And you have that vision.
Yeah. you know? And I mean, you know, so many people, nobody likes change. Let's face it, you know, change is hard, right? Like life is hard, divorce is hard, work is hard, all the things.
Slow down divorce. It's not that hard.
Well, I guess it depends on your situation. But it's like seeking positive uncomfort. If you really think about that, seek positive uncomfort and it will change your life. Like, to me, change and comfort are like oil and water.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't go, but they have to. You have to get uncomfortable to make a change. And that's why I feel like so many people stay in the job that, you know, is just a life suck. You know, they're just rolling up to collect a paycheck to support their family, but they hate what they do. I wouldn't want to get out of bed in the morning if that was my life. Like, how miserable.
I'm trying to think if there's anyone I've come across, and I'm sure they exist, but anyone who's been in business for themselves or worked for commission
Yeah.
and been their own boss for more than like 12 months that would actually take a job again. And I don't think I can, I think I can think of people that maybe the first year hasn't gone well and they think, man, I really wish I had that regular paycheck again. Mm-hmm. But after you do it and after you've proven to yourself that I can do this, so after about 12 months,
You never want to go back.
no. And I'm trying to think if there's any example of anyone that I know of that's wanted to go back. And I think I'm really an extreme example. Radio's great. I loved radio. Wouldn't go back.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like the demands of working for somebody else.
Yeah.
Right. And always being, I am not someone who likes to be told what to do. Like, I will bust my butt and go to the ends of the earth to do the best I can. But for me, like going from being like a W-2 employee and working for corporate America to all of a sudden becoming self-employed, well, it's not like all of a sudden I chose to become self-employed and I had a plan in place, right? But like, just think about something. What are you doing when you are your best version of yourself? You know, is that something that is a hobby that makes you happy? Is it your job? Is it, you know, it can be a million different things to anybody. But for me, I break it down to like, what makes me feel like I'm being the absolute best human I can be for myself and everybody else I interact with? What makes me feel accomplished, right? What makes me feel healthy? And when I say that, I don't mean just physically healthy as in like fit. I mean mentally, emotionally. Like, all of these things have such a pull. And I feel like, you know, like say there's 5 circles of life. Like, you have your business, financial, spiritual, health, personal, or whatever. And if one circle is off, it's going to throw every other aspect of life off. And I don't think people realize that. You know, like they chase the dream to get this great job and their family life suffers because of it. And their kids freaking hate them because they're constantly on their phone. And, you know, even when they're home, like people don't set the boundary and don't know how to like shut off. And there is a difference. And I can personally speak to this from, you know, we live in a 24/7 society, and I think corporate America, they just expect you now with technology to be on all the time. Like, it doesn't matter if it's 10 o'clock at night and you're trying to go to bed, somebody is going to call you or text you. But I think what we all need to realize is, like, at the end of the day, I am the epitome of a people pleaser. I always have been.
It's an understatement.
But I have realized something about myself with that, because I've struggled for years with, you know, clients, family members, whoever, friends, like trying to please everybody, but I'm killing myself doing it. And I realized that I am not going to make anyone comfortable while I am sacrificing myself and making my own self uncomfortable. Like, to me, doing that is like starting a war within myself on on every level. And like one of my mentors says, like, you got to protect your peace. Like, hell no, I am not going to do this because it makes you happy, but it's going to put me in a terrible position. Like, and that might sound selfish, right? It's like, I'm always going to try to do the right thing. But if you don't have yourself right in all these areas, like, you're going to struggle. You're not going to be good. You're going to fall on your face in some other aspect. So it's just a balancing act. And so many people apologize. Like, there's so many haters out there, right? And I hear this all the time. It's like, wow, you've done great. You're really successful at what you do, but you can feel or hear the hate. Like, well, you don't have time for me anymore because you're too busy doing this. Instead of like, people just, I think if we just all support each other, like, there just needs to be a higher level of encouragement.
Good luck with all that.
I mean, like yesterday, for example, it's the littlest things that to me make a difference. I was at the gym and I'm constantly trying to level up my game, right? And I do these weighted planks. And forever, I'll take the biggest weight they have at the gym I train at. They're like 45-pound,
Dumbbells.
like, they're not dumbbells. They're
Plates.
just like a weighted plate, right? So I'll put the 45-pound plate on my back and hold it and do planks. Well, I was like, okay, I've been doing this a while. I need to up it. I need a little bit more of a challenge. This isn't hard anymore. Well, I can only get one weight
I
on
was going to ask how you do that.
Well, it's a finesse. I'm
Okay.
on all fours and kind of have to shimmy it up, So it's easy with one plate. But I'm like, okay, now I'm going to add another 25 on here. And I couldn't get the other one. But like most people, I'm terrible about asking for help. Absolutely terrible. And this girl who I didn't know, but I've seen her in the gym a few times, she sees me like laughing at myself, like, what the hell am I doing? How am I going to get this on my back? And she comes over to me and just smiles and says, do you need some help? I go, that would be awesome. And so she just put it on and it's like, it took her no time, but it was like the kindest gesture. Like, that girl just helped me achieve something, like a new PR or a new whatever. And all she did was 10 seconds of, hey, put an extra 25 pounds on my back. And that made my day.
And now, for some reason, I think I'm going to meet this girl at your next client appreciation party.
Maybe. You never know. But I mean, it just like, people are always apologizing, I feel like, for their greatness in some way. It's like, they know they're great at it, but it's like, you know how it is. It's like, well, I don't want somebody else to feel like they're a loser, or, like, it could be, I kind of coach different people, other agents in my industry, right? And I love that. I love being able to help my colleagues. I don't look at it as like, oh, hey, you live 2 blocks from me. We could be marketing to the same people. You're my competition. Well, yeah, they're my competition, but we're not marketing 9 times out of 10 to the same people.
Yeah.
And if I can help somebody, if I say one thing and they have that light bulb moment, like, I try to just network with like-minded people in the same industry as me, because to me, growing is about helping each other get there. And I think so many people try to, like, oh, I can do it. I don't need help, and then they just don't get there, or they fall on their face. And I think at the end of the day, life's hard. Everybody has stuff, whether it's work, whether it's family. But if you fall in love with the journey, then you're going to crush it. I mean, I've just embraced everything I do every day. It's like, I don't look at it as, got to go to the gym, got to show a house. Like, again, I get to do this and I get fired up about it. And when you show up that way, it portrays a different message to everybody who sees you, whether you're interacting with them or not. Because, they see like, wow, that girl knows her stuff, or she's hitting that hard, or she is getting after it. Like, I want to be like that. And for me, if I can touch just one person, like, maybe not even speaking to them, but if I can motivate somebody by an action I'm doing, then I'm living my purpose, right? So don't Don't sell yourself short just because society preaches and tells you to do something else. Like, you've been in this career forever. Well, you better stay there because change is hard. That's bullshit. Sorry for the language, but it's just, you have to break outside the zone to reach your max potential in life.
If you have questions about buying, selling, renting, or investing, don't go at it alone. Reach out to Melissa at 214-280-4317 or melissa@melissamovesdfw.com. You can find out more about the Melissa Avera Realty Group at TVG by visiting melissamovesdfw.com. Thank you for listening to Going the Extra Mile.